welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. So glad you guys could be here today. I've got another good show for you tonight. If I can make my shit work. Anyway, I had this. Anyway, we're gonna move on. It was user error probably on my part. Okay, actually no, it's just my system lost my feed to me. But anyway, I'll bring on my guest, which you all know who it is now. But I have a cool new intro for him. Here we go. Wait, where is he?
When the water's spilling over the bow, you'll still have me in the wing.
Hello, Matt. Oh, shoot.
I'm kidding.
No. Oh, yes. You sucker. Don't do that. Oh, man. I'm going to lose it.
In Trackway, yes, I can still read, so you're still dead to me.
This whole time we've been backstage trying to troubleshoot his audio when it wasn't his audio. It was I just but it was weird because you could hear me totally fine.
Everything was crystal clear. I could hear your music, I could hear everything, and I tested my audio and I could see it.
I know it was weird. It was probably my music. I was jamming out beforehand and it probably knocked something out. So
yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that
probably. I don't know. Always my fault. Always my fault. But looks like mine.
I'm going full screen here and then. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna bring on my other guest who just popped in. Here we go.
Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up.
Hello, Brent.
What's up?
Oh, you have new setting behind you.
No, it's a fake green screen. See?
Fake.
Wait a minute, I recognize that back now.
And it comes with the bugs too?
No, it comes with two masks sitting on top of the fence. He's
oh, shoot.
No, you got me.
So we know where it came
got
from.
the shovel and all, guys.
He's recreating the scene.
Oh my goodness. But well, glad you guys could make it. And
yeah.
You missed the whole little beginning part. We couldn't get my audio to work. Anyway, somebody else popping in. Great. But now I got to find. Here we go. Hey, Leon.
Hey.
What's up,
Your
man?
house is still there.
The house is I'm surrounded by smoke all around. Thousands of houses have burned to the ground, but my acreage is okay because I had the fire water on everywhere, sprinklers everywhere. So,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you guys in Spokane. I think it's by Spokane. You guys got a whole bunch of fires going on up there. Hey, Brent. Like it's burning quite a few homes too, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of fires here in Washington. It's pretty smoky here, and I live on. I live on the west side of Washington, so Spokane's on the east side, and it's really dry over there right now, and it's just like a tinder keg and just blew up. Yeah.
Well,
it's pretty crazy. It's apocalyptic videos for sure.
Yeah, it's scary for sure. But
I just hope it's not going to be as bad as last year. Hopefully.
Oh gosh, we hope so. I'm gonna move us like this today. So thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it. It was pretty late notice when I threw out an invitation to you guys. But I was busy this weekend, so
yeah, it looked like it.
But we're gonna get started here. Quick hello to everybody in the chat. Got a lot of people out there, but I love you guys. Former everything, Grasshopper. There's Jonathan, Sasquatch Wizard, Angel, and on and on. What was that?
What's in the background though? It sounds like somebody got a cat and a dog in their house or something.
It's Brent.
Could be me.
Yeah, it's gotta be because we're all in our little holes. So,
yeah, there's some people swimming over here.
oh, that's what
That's
it
what
is.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people having fun.
my brother's
I
kids.
just heard Professor Gadget theme song. I just thought I heard.
So I thought we would talk about Sasquatch hotspots because we have kind of been talking about that. Brent, I am going to mute you though, so you have to unmute.
Oh, is it that loud?
When you want to talk.
Okay.
So, cause we're thinking about the shindig for next year, and the topic has been coming up of where we should have it, and I think we pretty much have an idea where we're going to have it next year, but it's going to be based off of high Bigfoot historical places, places that have a lot of reports. These are the kind of areas that we want to go to. So that's what brought on this topic for me, and doing a little bit of searching. And what are my spots I would like to go? And now that you guys are here, what would be your number one places to go and check out, squatch or investigate and search in these areas? But of course, I have to come up with questions, and it was so hard for this particular show to come up with the right questions. So the number one thing I was going to of course, the BFRO, okay, has their reporting system, which we all know is kind of very, let's say, not up to date. And we don't really know about their vetting process too much. They do have investigators that are supposed to be going out to these sites and verifying some of the facts involved in the reports. But is it happening? Are they just taking this stuff and putting it right on to their report map? Now, how reliable these reports are, I don't really know. I don't think anybody really knows. And how many of those reports actually represent the number of sightings in that area? Because I think the percentage is going to be really off. I think we probably have way more sightings than people will ever report, for a variety of reasons. They don't want to be harassed about it, or shamed in any way for seeing a Bigfoot. So I think that holds back a lot of people from wanting to report sightings or encounters or experiences, what have you. But so that's where I kind of going with the show here. But the one thing is that if you're going to go and investigate an area, it is important for you to research that area prior to going out. Whether it be doing your map research or checking on previous encounter reports, or the weather, everything. There's a bunch of things that you can do before you go out to an area. And the more and more, you get into this subject, you realize there's a bunch of stuff that can come into play when you're going to go out on an investigation. So based off of that, on the BFRO site, their top 5 states that they have listed with their reports are the following. Washington, of course, takes that lead by far with 711 reports filed. California with 461, Florida with 339, which I found a little surprising. I thought Florida would have been a little lower down the list, but I guess not. So I don't know. But Ohio at 321 and Illinois at 303. The spoiler is Oregon, came in at number 6 with 257. And then they kind of jumble all over the place after that. But it was interesting how far of a lead Washington had. in regards to all the other states out there. And pretty much, I think all the states had one or two in there. Now that I'm looking at it, there is no zeros in the whole of the U.S. So
I
even
thought Hawaii was a zero.
well, they have one that I think is it on here? Is Hawaii?
That could be portals.
The hula squatch.
It's called, what is it called? I had it on the show a couple of weeks ago. I
think it was recent too, like within this year.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It hasn't been too far, and they have a special name for it, but yeah, I'm actually not even showing Hawaii on here at all.
Danny's comment.
Yeah, what did Danny say?
Moggs lives in Florida. They could be mistaking him.
Oh, I hope he's feeling good, by the way.
Yeah. I saw
he's
that.
kind of gotten some
Everybody's going down.
facial paralysis going on there that he should get checked. Anyway, so between this, I went to the Washington one and clicked on it and took that dive down into where in Washington was the most, which county, and it was Pierce County. They came up with 83. Oh, that's just the BFRO thing. And that's what it looks like when you go there. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure the group that are in the chat right now have all visited the BFRO at some time or another. But if you haven't, if you're new to it, it's pretty easy to get around that site. You just click on your state, then from your state, it'll lead to the county in that state. And from there, you would, click where you want to go, and it'll actually come up with all the reports listed, and they'll be filed as class A, B, or C, a visual sighting, knocks and sounds, and what's the last one?
Tracks.
Audio.
Yeah, I think it'd be
tracks. Okay, tracks. So, and you can just read all the information they have there. It's a kind of a standardized thing that they fill out, and the investigator goes out and is supposed to vet that in some way. But they're really very few 23s in there. And but I don't think it's because there weren't sightings. It's because they just haven't put them in. They just aren't keeping up with the whole system. But it was interesting that Pierce County and Snohomish had 59, Skamania had 65, and it's all this area that leads down from Seattle, like straight on down. That heart represents Mount St. Helens, and I think that's Skamania, right, Brent?
Yeah, if you pull up a topograph of the state, you'll see that that's the Cascade Mountain Range right there.
Right,
Like,
right. It's gonna go all the way straight down
right.
from that heart up and down, right there, and
Yeah,
that's where all your sightings are. What was that? I lost him.
He throws up.
Lost him. Yep. So, and that's exactly where all those counties line up, is that west side of the Cascades. And I'm kind of glad. I was reading some of the reports now, and I'm glad I never did read them before I went out to the site, because it may have made me a little uncomfortable about some of the things that were out there. At least this way, I went out there kind of like virgin ears. I wasn't hearing, or had any preconceptions about what to hear out there. So for me, it worked out, that I'm glad I didn't, because it made me not scared, and it helped me to do what I did out there. But a lot of things going on in that whole Cascade range, all the way down through even Oregon.
And you want to know what?
What?
There's really not a lot of people investigating it. There's no groups, really hardly anybody that's seriously investigating. I probably counted on my two hands. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
So for such a long mountain range and such a vital and important area, with so many sightings, there's really not a lot. There's really not a lot,
Hmm.
which is surprising. I know. I'm shocked too. Like literally, there's a
And
lot of
like, let me see.
individual people, but you know that gets
Yeah,
you
they're
so
really
far.
behind because this is even showing that there hadn't been a sighting. Well, let's put it this way: one that was reported, a sighting that was reported since 2022, and that just
Yeah.
can't be. That's just not accurate at all.
Mm-mm.
But the one thing that is in common with all these sightings is that the majority of the people reporting were just campers. They're not Bigfooters. They're just camping. And they're camping in regular campsites just off of regular highway type roads and or motorists just driving down freeways and highways and seeing something, cross the road in front of them, which is our typical type of sighting that you would have. But there's a lot of the um, type of vocalizations they're hearing too, as well. A lot of those Class Bs, but a lot of Class A's as well. Dust Time, Greenwater, Mount Rainier, Ashford, Lost Lake, Norse Peak, um, Bonnie Lake. Joint Base Lewis McCord has a bunch in here, actually. There's a bunch that I've noticed. So it's interesting. It is interesting. But you know, got to take it for what it's worth. But it's a hot spot. And I think a lot of people will agree that it's a hot spot all over the U.S. Even
Yeah.
people from the East Coast would agree.
Well, the Cascades are really unique because it offers the rain shadow effect. So on the west side, it's green. On the east side, it's desolate. But the thing with the Cascades too, the further north that you go, like especially in the state of Washington, the more rugged the peaks are. That's why I say that, the North Cascades of Washington, like up there in Skagit County and stuff, that's where it gets really remote and jagged, and less people go there just for camping and hiking. I mean, there's hiking and camping throughout there, but it's less visited versus like the Olympic Peninsula, which is there on
Hmm.
the left side there, left of Washington there of the Puget Sound, and
Yeah.
and of like Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens and stuff. And it's interesting with what you're talking about with the reports. I know here locally, I tap into the hiking community to see what they have going on, and there's
Hmm.
actually quite many discussions of people seeing them and different reports of possible and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people telling their stories to the point where, I am very confident that the BFRO is in no way in tune with gathering these reports. And there's so many more going on out there that the BFRO is actually able to report and stuff. And so it's really interesting. And that's why I always recommend, if you are looking for areas, go to your local hiking groups, the outdoor groups, and just
Hmm.
see what they're saying, the logging groups, and you'll
Right.
actually learn a lot about areas and stuff. So good resource.
Agreed. Grasshopper, Jay's area south of St. Helens is the best skookum area too. And I agree, it is. But again, you also have to take in all those environmental issues that come up, meaning food sources. Okay. It's plain as day. You can tell when there's going to be a lot of activity due to food availability. And nothing taught me that more than this trip and seeing how they had not had the berries come in. They had, things were just not right. There wasn't even any bees. I noticed that there was no bees, no flowers, and that could have been, as Brent had told me, possibly due to fires that had been in the area, prior. So,
Well, I
um,
mean, if you look when we went to on other trips around there, when we were going to go look for Mount St. Helens and stuff, how diverse it is to the other areas. It's like that area there is kind of like a voided area. It's devoided of life, it seems. it's, like I say, I saw what looks like an elk or a herd of elk
Scat.
went through there.
Oh,
Yeah, I went
yeah.
through there about a week ago or a week or two prior of us arriving, and
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. There's nothing really of great value there to eat comparatively to other areas that are just miles up the road, really.
Right. And yeah, we went up miles and miles, like how long? 3-hour detour trying to find the perfect pictures,
Um,
to
but
capture.
but to build off that, if you're talking about hot spots, where to go, where to be, that's what you have to look at is the food source. Where's the food? The salmon run obviously is a
Right.
big source of food, and so you have berries, that will spring out different times of year. So you got to figure out what berries are popping at what time of year, and you kind of go put yourself in those situations, and yeah, follow the food sources if you're aware of
Mm-hmm.
the local herds of, because local game herds do get tracked, believe it or not. So you can kind of get reference of that, but it kind of goes into the research of the area that you're going into is the viable food source. Because you remember the whole thing that Jeff Meldrum did with the Snell Grove Lake thing. They went at a time of year when there was no food there. So it's like, why would a Bigfoot be there if there's no food there? So it's like, that was a real error in their expedition, because they, the likely target subject wasn't there. But in our situation, like I said, you can go like 5 miles up the road, and you can start getting all that stuff. So, if you have a large creature that's migratory, that's nomadic within a migratory area, it could probably travel 5, 10, 15, 20 miles, no problem, in their little loop trying to find food and forage.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And yes, everybody, I'm getting to the mapping project. Geez, let me get through this. Everybody's like jumping the gun. I think we already all know about that. It was my next. Oh wait, I can't even hit the button. It was my next slide. See, literally, I have it on here. Okay. Everybody's like freaking out. Not mentioning them. Anyway, yes, there. There is the Bigfoot mapping project. And Scott Tompkins is the one who created this. And he created it to address the lack of centralized information, and to encourage future reports. And he not only did that in a way where he took, is it Mongolia? I want to say, what was that other mapping? 2016, the Mangani map, all those sightings that were on that, he actually put that onto the classic map. Now the new map looks something like this, and it has everything from 2020 and older and younger, to present time, and it looks like something like this. Now I screen grabbed this on Thursday. So that green dot right there in Arizona and New Mexico, that was less than 48 hours ago, or from Thursday, that a sighting, Class A sighting, had been had up there, just north of Grants, New Mexico. And it also has this thing where, I'm interested in the Southwest because I'm in the Southwest and it's the only place I've got to go. So I'm going to be focusing in New Mexico. And there was one little red dot there, in the New Mexico. And as you zoom in and zoom in, it turns out that there was quite more sightings in that area. So don't just think, oh, there's just one out here in, Nebraska. But if you zoom in, you're going to see all the previous reports start popping up. And on his site, you literally have to hover over the little Bigfoot he has to pull up, the actual report. And it's super simple. I feel like it's not as a big as report as like the BFROs. It's very simple. It's just asking you when, where, why, what, did you see tracks, and did you see any juveniles, which I thought was kind of unique in asking, because the BFR doesn't I don't think it doesn't have a specific question for juvenile question, and he does here on the mapping. A lot of sightings. The Res Lands has a lot of sightings that they don't talk about. Well, they do talk about it in Arizona and New Mexico quite often. But not just Bigfoot. They talk a lot about, the skinwalkers. And they do. The Apache have, and the Navajo have their own unit off of their policing. What is it called again? I can't think of it now. But a special unit for the paranormal type of calls that they investigate.
Wow.
So that's how serious they take it out there. But yep, there was one there. And many actually, I'll be going to the Mescaleto Indian Reservation next month. I thought I was going next week, but it's next month. And there's actually 4 sightings right where we rented a place. So it's interesting. I won't be able to investigate because I'm going there for something, but it's the area I really want to look into and start going out there. So that's the Bigfoot mapping.
Nikki, where was that area you said you wanted to go?
Mescaleto.
Okay.
The Mescaleto Indian Reservation. It's right next to Ruidoso. It's just south of Ruidoso.
Okay.
And the problem there is you have to get permission to go to a lot of areas. I know that, but I also know a lot of people. I know not a lot of people. I know a few people who are in that area. And from what I was told, it's for this particular area I want to go to. It's not difficult. But I have to ask. I have to get the permissions anyway. And
you may have to wear a grass skirt or something, or some skins.
Oh, no. But I'm gonna try to do the farthest public camping areas first until I learn the area, because I don't just want to go whole hog all the way into the forest and get myself lost because I don't know the area. That's the last thing I want to do. So I need to get acclimated, I guess, into that and my walking. And by the way, for the concert I went to, I blew my husband away. He's like, dang, you were ahead of me walking, because we had to park 2 miles away, and I was ready to go. He was like, well, that must have been all the walking you did. And I go, I guess. But
that's great.
Anyway, so I know that. I know I've got a long way to go. This is just the beginning of my journey in that path. Okay. I'm going to continue this because this is, what I love to do, but it's a whole new thing that I'm getting excited about doing. Good. And I look forward to that.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
This is what the classic map looks like. Okay. And this is the one that has all the way, I think his earliest one I looked at was 1917 or something. So he's got all kinds of reports and sightings listed on this map. Now, it may not look like there's a lot there, but once again, you have to go and start zooming into the area that you want to look at. And then it's just pockmarked with sightings. Like I said, he transposed those. What he actually said, and he did that 2 years ago, Tompkins. And what he says here was that he was able to pick up the torch from Mangani's Bigfoot 2016 sightings map by updating it with recent BFRO sighting data for a huge historical database. This data aggregates reports from all over the web into categories such as recent 2021 reports, sightings, audibles, track sign, and all incorporated in an interactive web map with tons of layers of analysis, including national parks, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife trails, and global hydrography layer and national parks. National forest, state park boundaries are also on the map. So he's incorporated a lot of others, things to his maps, which and they look great when you go and you start fiddling around with your area. It's interesting, and you can get sucked into just looking at area after area, reading these reports for sure.
That's why I don't read them.
Because you'll keep
going. I have never looked at one yet.
Never.
Never.
I'm show you one now then.
I did. Well, I take that back. I out of curiosity, when Bigfoot Mapping Project launched, I did zoom into the corridor, 56-mile stretch, and looked at a couple. And the first one I looked up was wrong.
And that's
the information was wrong. And I pinned a note to them and said, you all have this happening in the Green Swamp, but it's happening in the corridor, and the name of it is blah, blah, blah. And I don't think to this day it's changed yet. But again, you all know my story. I didn't want to be influenced, and I'm glad you didn't look up all the sounds and stuff of where you were going at Mount St. Helens, because you're right. I think it would have thrown you off. And I like to, I know what I'm going after, but I like to experience it and hear something and then do the homework after the fact. And then it's even more exciting when someone heard the exact same thing you heard, but you didn't know about what you heard. And then to me, it's more relevant and it's more real. So that's just the way I've approached this. And I'm starting, because of the PG film, I'm starting to research old people and the Four Horsemen and all of that stuff for another project. But it has nothing to do with my area, and I still don't research my area to the point that most people should. I more worry about safety, equipment, stop the bleed. Can I make a fire if I get stranded overnight? Do I have a partner that can drag my ass out if need be? And I do. So I worry about survival stuff.
Yeah. Well, that is important, and
at the top of my list.
It has come to me too, because I don't think I can be out there by myself. And it's not like I have any resources here in town, really. And I'm real hesitant. My kids don't want to go out there. They'll go camping with me occasionally and stuff like that. But that's just not a thing they will drop. Mom's, wants to go out again, type of thing.
Welcome to my world.
And so, but they're getting older, they can stay home, but that leaves me by myself, and me having to find now other sources in the New Mexico area or up there who are researching that area. And it's pretty thin, if it's thin where Brent's at, imagine in the desert, we have our mountain systems here, but they do not connect. And I don't know if anybody knows that about our area. Now, the Colorado Rockies do come down a ways through New Mexico and stuff, but then they break up, and you have large spans of high desert, okay? A lot of shrubs, stuff like that. But it's not, we don't have the water source like the Pacific Northwest does. We don't have the water sources that the East Coast would have. They're very far and few between where you have these sources. So you get little pockets of these mountain ranges, like the Lincoln forest that I want to go to. I think they're kind of isolated, and I don't think there's a whole lot of them there, but there's sightings. So maybe there's family there that I could maybe check into. Excuse me, somebody's messaging me.
Well, you have hiking stores out in your area, right? You have places that sell sleeping bag, camping gear, and all that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
local Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Right.
I would hang out and follow those places and find my partner at those places. Brian was not a Bigfoot guy, and I personally wouldn't go looking for a Bigfoot guy to go out Bigfooting with. I would rather bring in someone on the medical side or someone on the science side, or someone just likes to camp and hike that you may meet at a hiking club through a day hike club, and then say, you know, they're planning a hike and say, oh, well, if you need someone to go, I'll go. And next thing you know, you all partner up, you do 2 hikes, and trip 2 or 3, you spring that, hey, you're interested in this or that.
that's I was waiting what do you do? That.
Is it like trip 2 or 3?
That, but, you know, I never put out on my channel necessarily straight up that, hey, I'm a Bigfoot guy looking for someone to go Bigfooting with. Brian reached out to me, and then he was in my chat for a good 6-7 months, you know, commenting, and I followed him, and you get a feel for him. And it turned out to be great because he is a, you know, an army guy who did foot expeditions, and he, you know, he's a medic and he worked at a hospital. He brings a lot of stuff to the table that makes a good partner to go out hiking with. You know, I wouldn't necessarily look for someone to go Bigfooting with, is what I'm trying to say.
That's my problem.
I had actually a couple years ago run into a guy who was from up there, from that area, Alto actually, who had an experience, and he was like, I wasn't looking for it. I'm not interested in Bigfoot at all, but he had come across my channel when I very first started and wanted to tell me. He sent me did he send me an email or a message? I can't even remember. But something in regards to that, at his camp, something was yelling and screaming at him and throwing rocks, and they got scared and they picked up and left. But right before leaving, you know, he saw this hairy creature come out at them. And he said he remembers that he left half of his stuff there. And when they came back the next day, everything was just ripped to shreds.
Wow.
And it's an area up near Santa Fe somewhere. And that's the common thing with sightings in that area, is that very aggressive type behavior from whatever. I'm sure there's bear there. I'm sure there's other, you know, things, but the reports are that the Sasquatch in that area are very hostile. So,
don't you have the Mexican grizzly bear down there?
I have no idea. I never heard of a Mexican grizzly bear.
Yeah, me neither, until I saw a video about him. I'm like, wow, didn't know that.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I wonder if they can.
It's not like the tree octopus.
I wasn't sure.
I'm sure there's all kinds. We got the panthers and the jaguars coming in now to the southern states through Arizona and right where we are in Texas and New Mexico. So those reports they're coming up more and more. You know, they didn't want to believe it, but they're capturing them on trail cams. So they don't know borders. You know, animals don't know borders. They're wherever. Okay, so where was I going? Another note I wanted to make is that the Bigfoot mapping project, Tompkins actually did write up an abstract, and he entered that into the relic hominoid inquiry that we're always talking about. It's a good resource because you know, he put all his information on what he wanted to do by creating these maps and these reports, and put it in an abstract and made it official. You know, he's serious about what he's doing, and I think that's great because it gets listed there as it's going to be, you know, a great history to what he's doing.
No, I agree. It's a huge resource and a great benefit for the community going forward.
For sure.
I agree. Especially with the map overlays when you look at rainfall and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah.
Right. Right.
it makes a difference, and it's I you know, I think it's top of the list. If I were to be using these type maps, it's definitely the one I would be using. It's on my phone. I just really don't go to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he tracks 7 days, 48 hours, 10 days, and the red are like from that map. This map is 2020 to present on that one. So, it's kind of interesting to see how this map changes, via the colors, letting you know that where the newest sighting pops up. And of course, that's a lot of work. Okay, that means he's taking these reports and he's having to put them on there. I don't know if it's an automated thing once you enter your survey. He calls his surveys, okay? He's just asks specific questions. And if they automatically go up, or he takes them, vets them, cleans them up, and then puts them on there, I would probably bet that's how it happens. But he's been on a lot of shows, so you can go find him on several different shows talking about it, and I'll let him do that. I didn't think about bringing him on, but that is that. Now there is another one, okay, that some people, I don't know if they go to it or not, but the North American Wood Ape Conservancy also does a map and records reports, or has this database. So, of course, most of their reports are centered around their area. Okay, so it's a lot of Texas reports, but there was some California and other ones. So I don't think they're real biased. If you have a report and you're gonna share it, they do. And they have a little bit of a different type of system classifying, because they do class ones as corroboration, like reports involving sightings and accompanied by another form of support. And then they break that down into A, B, C, and D. It's really an extensive type of thing. Like 1A would be the wood ape or specimen being collected, like you actually found a Bigfoot dead. Okay. And it just goes on, and it has it listed there. And all these are going to be listed down into the description. Okay. All these sites I'm pulling up: the mapping project, the BFRO, the North American Wood Ape, even Matt's and Brent's channels are going to be down there listed. So if you want to find any of that, you can find it there. But again, they do class 1 cooperation, class 2 competency, and class 3 credibility. And you can go there and read exactly what they mean by this, because some of these are no visual encounter, unidentifiable, all kinds of different class that they go by there or listed. So that is that North American Wood Ape. So we're going to talk about my favorites, though. Of course, Washington, okay, was on my number one, and I'm fortunate to have gotten to go out there. Harrison Hot Springs in BC, because of the history involved with Bigfoot sightings there, and wanting to go to Canada myself. Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky seems to be a pretty big hotspot for all kinds of cryptid, Bigfoot, paranormal stuff. So
I'd like to go there just to be there, not necessarily for cryptids, but it's Kentucky, Tennessee, so I have family up there.
Oh, that's nice. I'd also like to go Adirondacks in New York, Nordeg. Of course, Banff and Calgary are right there, kind of like triangle, right, Leon? Isn't it kind of like that whole little area there? And
that whole little area over 1,000
yeah,
square
well,
kilometers, whatever.
and Ohio, of course. I had to add Ohio because of Salt Fork, a lot. But going back to Washington, that whole North Cascades area, and I really want to go to Bumping Lake. I know there's a lot of tourists that go there, and a lot of, folks are pretty much go camping there and can kind of contaminate the area. I've heard that from a lot of people, but it's still, one of my big things on my list that I would like to go and explore that area. And so there's still a lot to be seen. I think Washington holds a lot. So.
Well, I could say for the North Cascades, that's your least chance of human contamination. I mean, that's where I like to go, between Baker, Mount Baker and Glacier Peak. Those are good places, just because it's so remote, no people, no nothing.
Right.
Which is, so you kind of wonder if, but if you were looking at these areas, it's always good to have like someone down on the location there, seeing what's new as far as like activity goes and stuff.
Right, because we can't rely on these sites to have the most recent sightings. They're not putting them in. It's whenever they can. It seems like they're updating their reports and stuff. So you're right. You have to go to other sources that are going to be talking about it and sharing that information. But it's also, you got to get what you get. You may get false information with that at the same time.
Yeah, the thing with Bumping Lake, it's like literally, it seems like every weekend there's a new investigation going on there with a different group. Be in mind, none of them communicating together, sharing information. No, they would never do that. But it just seems like so it's like you don't even know like whose trail cam is out there. Might be taking a squat somewhere and you're on someone's trail cam. Just, always worry about stuff like that in those highly populated areas, especially with the investigation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I said this when Small Town Monsters came to Tampa, or I should say Polk County, when we did the Green Swamp with those guys, and we had a great time. But seeing how I was in Tate's group, and when Tate started doing wood knocks and screams, I mean, I was standing right beside him. He said 3, 2, 1, and it startled me so much that I didn't think he would have that kind of volume. And Tate can do an incredible scream that's chilling. And I knew it was coming, and I almost dropped my iPhone, and it literally just almost flew out of my hands. He scared the pants out of me, but it made me think. I knew that was Bigfoot conference weekend, so I knew there were 10 other groups in the woods in the Green Swamp, and we all heard. I'm sure they heard that. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't hear that, but it crossed my mind. We should be logging stuff like that. Now, in a sense,
absolutely.
I filmed it, and my cameras are all set, and there's a timestamp and everything. So if I ever hear anybody say, hey, on this certain day, and I'll go, oh, that was the night before or after the conference. Yeah, we were out there. Or, I'll know that it's ours. But yeah, there is no one recording knocks or anything like that. At least put them on video so there's a timestamp and a date stamp on that sort of stuff, because I kind of wonder in big force like that how much we're just chasing each other. Oh, I heard Brent's good make a tree knock, and then
like Bumping Lake.
And I heard, it's like,
right.
How much of our stuff is actually legit?
Well, yeah, especially once you get into the call blasting and stuff like that, it just contaminates the whole area for everyone, really.
Yeah, my buddy Ron goes out there all the time, who, took me under his wing and showed me the Green Swamp and how to move through it and, what to look for and how to step, how to walk. I mean, I started like a toddler into this, and he tells me all the time, he'll come back and said, yeah, me and Lori were sitting, 75 yards off trail, hit our bikes, and we were just sitting there in the dark. And, 2 Bigfoot groups came by within a 4-hour period, call blasting, and had lights on all over the place. And they never saw him. He was just sitting there watching them. And it happens all the time. He sees barefoot groups go through there all the time. So it just keeps it real when you have someone giving you real data that you can use, and realize that not all what you think is really going on out there. And that's why I don't go out there. That's why I go to the corridor. There's too many
That's
people.
kind of disappointing. I mean, when you think about it, that happens, and we know it happens in more places than just there. You know, you've got a little bit smaller area, of course, that you can trek through because you've got so much area you can't go through, you know, with your swamps and stuff. But
I can honestly say, in the year Brian and I have been doing the corridor, I have not run into a Bigfoot group where we go. I've only run into 70% of the people. If I see one or two a day in a 6-7 hour trip, is a trail runner, is a solo woman trail runner. You know, fanny pack, shorts, muscle shirt, good sneakers, you know, water pack, and off she goes. And I shake my head every time, like, man, I can't believe, you know, because they're not thinking Bigfoot. They're seeing a 5-mile loop trail through the woods, you know, cross country, and that's what they're doing. And there's water, mud, everything. They're going through it. But I haven't seen groups, and that's why I like where we're going. I'm not running into people with, you know, with night vision and you know,
stuff strapped to their head and
but
stuff
trust
like
me,
that.
when those runners see us, they look at us like, "What the hell are you guys into?" You know, they see me with my helmet rigged with audio recorder and GoPro. I look like I just got dropped off a spaceship as a reject.
I don't understand call blasting. I really think that's a waste of time. I don't support it. I think
yeah, I do too.
I think that's worthless, just for the fact that I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now, but
yeah, it's to each their own. I'm not saying, you know, it's bad or good, but I've been with people on certain outings that do that, and I kind of go with the flow and watch how they conduct their investigations, and that's fine. But I've only done it, if I've done it, it's at the end of a frustrating weekend, and I'm going, I got nothing to lose. It's everybody's getting ready to go to bed, and I may do something, you know, just for like, wouldn't it be funny? But I've never gotten anything back.
Well, the ones that really get me is when they hook them up to those big old speakers and they're just, you know, letting that thing howl out there. And I don't know, I just think that scares the shit out of everything. You know, everything's going to go in the opposite direction.
Well, yeah, especially like all the local hikers or local campers too.
Yeah, can you imagine being a mother out there camping with your daughter, showing, getting them ready for brownies, and some idiot lets loose a call blast like that? It's like, that's not right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a little whoop here or there, or a little whoop, but it's you know, that whole call blasting thing. What if people?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't yell. It's my dad. Sorry. Okay. So I was gonna say something else about that, but I can't remember. So Harrison Hot Springs is my number 2 on here for a lot of reasons, and partially because I met Thomas, okay? And he's in that area, and it's gotten me excited about it, because the way he talks about his interviews, okay? And you're sitting there and he's talking to you and he's right in front of you. It's like you just, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, you get sucked in to that whole excitement of his experience of learning about, you know, certain areas. And I want to experience that. I want to experience that too. It's a beautiful area. And it is a touristy spot. The main hot springs, of course, is a complete touristy area, but I'm sure Thomas knows where, you know, the good spots are. And
maybe the Golden Ears State Park, huh?
The what?
The Golden Ears State Park.
Golden Ears?
Yeah, Golden Ears. Is it? Oh, yeah, Golden Ears State Park. Yeah, it's a real popular one. You know, Yeah, Bigfoot's out there with just round heads, circular round heads, perfectly circle.
Yeah, that one too.
The thing about Thomas's area is, we're always talking about wanting to have an area that has a lot of activity. Well, that area, if you go and see Thomas, which I would encourage you to do, in 2 days, he can take you to probably 10 to 15 fairly well documented Sasquatch events. So everything, and then also the supposed, what was the name of that small one that the train get people nailed in the
Jacko?
1890s?
Jacko.
Yeah, Jacko. He'll take you to where that was. They're the ones who found the actual tunnel for the train, where it was neat because when I was there with him, the cliff face where he says this is the cliff where they found it. It was up there, and then they knocked it down onto the ground on here. And so, and it's also got the same one. My brain's not working too well today, but where the lady, what's the incident with the cow? The mom with the kids and the cows out in the field and
Cowman.
Yeah, it could be called.
Yeah, that's what he called it. Yeah, that's what he. Yeah, it was like the little boy said it was a cowman.
That's private property, but if he knows you're coming, he'll get a key and you'll actually go to the house. The house is still standing. It's all surrounded with trees, though.
Oh wow!
He'll actually take you right to that location. And he'll give you this is where it was. This is where they ran, or this is where it was, where they ran to. This is where they ran down by the river to hide the kids. And this is where the father came back when it's quite like if we ever have a retreat up here for Sasquatch because I know a lodge that we could have it at in Chilliwack, which is just outside of Thomas's. I was going to get a big bus and say, Thomas, you should take people on tours. Because that's what you could do. And you could stop and go on. And he'll take you to places where, they came through and they ran through here. The Sasquatch ran through here. So-and-so was in that trailer right there with the window. And you could see outside. You could see what it was and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot more tactile than just hearing stories of locations. And it's not vetted. But these ones have been vetted by, over the years kind of thing. So. And
we're really going to try to make this happen next year is to take the shindig up north and go to an area somewhere near there, depending on where, that final decision of exactly where. We're not going to really let a whole lot of people know because we realize that the less people, the better, actually.
And they have BFRO researchers up at research in that area too. It's on the north end of the lake. But the other thing that I just want to comment on is a lot of times, this is what I find with Americans, not that I'm segregating you out into circles, but you come to Canada. And if you've never been in Canada, like especially like Nordeg's, Nordeg. God, I lived by Nordeg. I mean, I've known Nordeg, been in Nordeg for decades. But when I go there, because I live there, it's not this magical, oh my God, this is where the tree is, where, they took the tree structure, the first one Todd Standing took us to. Yeah. It's right next to the roadway. It's around a reservation. It's also logging. To me, it's just garbage. But if you're coming there for the first time and then your mind's been primed, you're going to have a real hard time of understanding. Like I know Brian King's going up there to see Todd Standing. It's like, oh yeah, or he's going up here to Revelstoke and stuff like this area. Yeah, it looks pretty monstrous when you look at the mountains and stuff like that, but not for a guy who lives in the area, not for a guy who does, he doesn't. I'm not influenced by the atmosphere. So I just want to point that out as a caution when you're coming here. Make sure you talk to somebody who really does know the area before you go to talk to somebody who says he knows the area and he's already got Sasquatch on his brain where he's going to influence your thinking, because you're going to be so
well, I'm not going to get Todd Standing as my tour guide there, Leon.
Is he paying? Is he paying Todd Standing's fee?
So I think Todd is. You'd have to ask Brian. I don't think he is, though. I think Todd offered him a trip kind of thing. But I was just trying to ask. I was going to maybe contact Brian and just say, "Are you flying into?"
That's what I did with Meldrum.
Are you flying into Calgary or Vancouver or Kelowna? to go to this place, because if he's close enough, because it's a 5-hour drive from my house, I would meet up with him first. Not to sway him or anything, because I think people should do, like, it's basically what you do, Brent. You go, you connect up with the people, you see what the inside stuff is, and I think you do what Matt you're talking about. Look, it's great to have these resources, these maps, but I find, especially the whole thing with Map Moneymaker, that whole thing just blew my hopefulness of understanding that people were doing legit research and documentation. Because I can't, what do I trust on the BFRO? You guys heard me talk about this. And that's what I mean, is the idea of, like you said, with blast calling and stuff like that, we are getting so saturated. You guys have noticed this over the last 2 years. So many Bigfoot conferences online. Lots of them. We're talking probably 3 times the amount there was just a few years ago. The problem with that is the saturation, contamination, whatever term you want to say, out in the bush is going to get more and more and more, because the curiosity, the interest is going. One of your maps you had, I think it was the second one, you notice there's the high population on the left side of the picture, highest population on the right side of the picture, hardly anything in the middle. You wait over the next 10 years as the culture of Bigfoot Sasquatchy starts growing, there's going to be more sightings in the center part, because it's lucrative. It's good for communities that are dying for ideas. It's a mystery, so just words of caution.
Believe that some of that is definitely that, and that's why I was voting caution. You can't rely, and that's why, how are they vetting? We don't know, and there's no way to know either. Okay.
Right.
It's just, you have to take it as it is and put it as one more little tool, but it's not your main thing for you. You're going to have to go and find that out yourself, pretty much.
Well, the key part, like with what Brent, and sorry, I might be overlapping you again for the time difference, but what you do is you've got to find your own area. So your own area. So you've been there enough times that when there's something different in the area, you recognize that. Same way as if I was at home and something else was on my coffee table that wasn't there, it's never been there, I see it immediately. And that's the familiarity that you have to do. Then you can also educate yourself through your own stupidity. We will all be morons in the bush because we're trying to learn stuff. But you'll start learning stuff about yourself. And so when somebody else comes in, you can say to them, no, that's this. And how I know that this is 5 years ago, this and this and this and this and this happened, or whatever like that. And that's just good, solid, I think, healthy research. I grid out all my areas. I got 3 main areas in mind. And I know the area. I know what should be there. I know what's not supposed to be there. I know when something's new there. I know when different games showing up that's not normal game that should be in the area. And you have to, when you're doing research, it's not about having all the tools. If you don't have bush smarts or the rhythm of the bush in your system, the tools are not going to work for you. Matt has been great to watch. Well, there's the nice thing to say about Brent too is he's been in that area so long. There's this naturalness that he can fit into his area with, whereas somebody coming into his area wouldn't be able to fit into that. Matt, when he first started getting into this with this camera and the addiction that comes with looking for Bigfoot, you're noticing in his story that addiction part's weaning out because he's looking for the reality of the issue instead of the addiction side of the compulsiveness that seems to overtake you when you get into this topic. So, and that's what you're looking for. Yeah, the magic. Look over here. Yeah.
Well, not only that, you can say that, but you get to the point where you're enjoying being out more.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you are.
You brush with them.
Yeah. It's like, I have a purpose and a goal, and I'm on the look, but I'm not missing the beauty of what's there either.
Right.
And we're just having some really, really good hikes. But like you, I know if someone came into town and said, hey, I'm going through this area and I need to dump off XYZ, I can show them 3 places on that river in a 60-mile area. We got drop-off points here. We got drop-off points here. We got overnight here. This is a great I think something's going on here, as in a hotspot, because nobody can get there. And I'm to the point where we're just starting to get there before my whole situation changed. So now I got to change up what I'm going to do. But I probably will go into, and you'll never hear me say this, and I hope somebody's not listening. I am going to get my 107. I am going to employ a drone only because I need high elevation reconnaissance of something, of a spot. I need to know if it's swamp. I need to know if it's an island. I need to know if it's just river water overflowing its banks where you get lost. I'm to that spot where I'm in a pickle of I can go north or I can head south. And I think everything's going to be south. And I have reason to believe why things are going to be south. But I'm using those like you talked about the last show, Nikki. I mean, you can talk about gear all you want. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I got into a third of it and I saw your slides up and you looked like you had it covered. But did you all mention e-bikes and kayaks? And
I did not. Actually, I did not mention e-bikes or
and see, to me,
to go in. Yeah.
To me, those are the game changers. That's what's moving the ball forward for Brian and I. Is when we employed e-bikes and kayaks and started going off trail and learning how to go off trail safely by using the kayaks and do little mini jump down a mile, push in and go, okay, we now can go from point 1 down to point C, and we've connected C with B on the other side. And that's the kind of connections we're building with camps that are already there and camps that aren't there that you're not supposed to be in at night, but could be an easy, great stealth camp. But I'm also going to start employing what I haven't used really yet is the 270 blind. So
I was just going to ask you about that. That's the one where you can't see
you can enter through the back. You can't see in, but you can see 270 out, clear as day. And it has little slits where I can work thermal and night vision out of that. But it's a safe way for me not wanting to do the crazy stuff I was doing, that I can still be in the game because I did all the homework and I know where those spots are. And now I can get to them and just do sits and use my blind and become quieter. Because we've just been stomping at this point. We've been stomping, exploring, and marking. And now it's time to sit and to sit still. And I think that's how I'm going to utilize, I'm down to the last year here. July 2024 is when I'm going to wrap it up on the commercial video production side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not stopping. I'm just wrapping up sharing because then it's going to go backstage.
Well, yeah, I understand all that for sure. And just to be clear, when I add Nordig, for me, it's just that general area. I want to go see Banff. Is it Banff or Banff?
Banff.
National Park, and now I have resources. Michael's in Calgary. Michael's offered to take me to a lot of these areas if to just go and experience it, as a tourist. I don't care. But
right.
Kelowna's not that far away either from that whole area. What, 6 hours?
Whatever.
6?
Nikki.
How far are you from Calgary? 6, 7 hours?
No, I'm at least 8 hours away from. But
okay.
What you can do though is closer. If you come up here, is get together with Alberta Sasquatch and let them take you out, and they'll take you to all those spots, and they'll give you the background history for it, and you'll go to Ram Falls and stuff like that, where you can literally see the mountain sheep right like a huge waterfall, and the mountain sheep are just like laying on the side of the mountain. Just you're thinking I would die. But those guys, the good thing about those guys is they're just pretty solid guys, and that's you'll meet up with Justin when you get together with them and stuff. And they usually throw that in August, mid-August or whatever. They might, if we do a shindig out here, like you're talking about, maybe they may be popping out here too, like out there too, and other people would pop in, but again, our groups, we're a little different than what you see online. Like the good thing about Canada, we're a lot smaller population, so we have a little more control over this culture that's developing for Sasquatch compared to where you guys would have it, where it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say touristy, but what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you make money off of a thing like that, it's
Tourist.
it's just our mindsets are different. So we do have the nut jobs. Don't get me wrong. We do have the people trying to make money, but it's just different. Like, I mean, we don't carry guns, even though we do carry guns in the bush, but we don't carry them for the same reason that most people would be carrying them. It's not a worrisome thing for us to be in the bush without a gun. We do have guns, but we just don't have the worry about being in the bush if we didn't have a gun, because we don't usually carry guns in the bush anyways. But we can carry guns in the bush as much as people think we can. You know, if you, especially Alberta Sasquatch, you know, you're going into grizzly country, you're going to be carrying a gun. You know, you're not going to not be carrying a gun. So, but it's just a different feel.
Well, I am in no way able to do what, you know, Justin or Keenan or that whole group does. That's not what I'm looking for. You know, I know my limitations. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for the taste, you know, just to be out there in a general area and do the whole sit around the fire and talk to people in the site, and that, you know, that's my main thing. But I'm serious about doing this, and I had a plan. I've talked it over with my husband, so some other things are coming up, and he knows I'm going to Canada next year. He knows that I'm gonna do something else here in the States the next year, and by the third year I want to go back up to Canada. So we're planning now. That's how I make things happen, is that I'm a pretty good planner when it comes to big things like this. And there may be even another trip I'm going to be taking abroad. So I have a lot of things planned, and the only way I can make these things happen is by talking about it now and to start planning now, so that it's easier in the future. But
I just want to put one last thought out. When I talked about going to Alberta Sasquatch's camp out, it's not like what Justin and Keenan do. That's a total separate thing. There's like 30 people that are like you and everyone else there. But
Michael tried to get me to go last year. Last year, he tried to get me to go to that one, but I just couldn't make that one happen.
Because it's just good stuff, and it's good quality education you get from them, and they know the forest. They're not going to be doing the we're going to do blasting calls, and we're going to go through this portal in the back of this road. You know, we're going to. It's none of that. It's I mean, but you'll see some just incredible wildlife that you could see that you shake your head thinking. Imagine 150 years ago when you were the first white guy from the East or European to come through this country with nothing, no roads, no nothing. Like you're just in awe of what they had to do.
Right.
Yeah. Like, amazing. Anyways, that's it.
Yeah. One of the other things that it's not just, I want to go to specific areas because I want to paint too. So it's a whole nother thing I have on my mind that I'd like to, because I'm a landscape artist, so I would love to do that while I'm there as well, is to take time to paint, do some scenery things. But
nice.
Let's see what I got next. And of course, there's the Land Between the Lakes. I did not know it looked like that until I looked it up. So kind of a weird thing, but a lot of stuff, I guess, happens there. I know Mogion went there did some stuff. I don't think he doesn't squatch, but kind of a weird area.
It's a creepy place. They got all these little cement bomb shelters there, all buried throughout the woods. That it's just really, all graffitied up. Very scary place.
Really? Is that from the Cuban Missile Crisis?
I doubt it. That's more Florida. I mean, we did all the
Oh,
stuff for that, but
oh,
because we have sitcom right here. I'm sitting like 6 miles from Central California.
Yeah. So
oh.
I don't know much about this area, other than it's always brought up. People in the area. This seems to be one of their main places they like to go. So
Yeah, you'll find
we've been going
abandoned tents all ripped up and these bunkers that don't make sense, and
Wow.
it's a crazy place. I've seen quite a few videos on it, just because it's on the way if I visit family at home up in Kentucky. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't Jay in that Jay Fritz's area. I think it was Jay.
Jay, Jay, where did you live, Jay? Isn't he here? Is he not here?
Yeah, I think he was. He's a land between the lakes country boy.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
somebody in this chat is. I remember it.
Um, so, and then the Adirondacks. We got a lot of people up there in New York that I know who could show me around. So that's definitely an area I'd like to experience as well. Steve's up in New York, um, and of course Joe's up there in New York, and Ryan Reading, and oh gosh, there's a bunch of people in that whole area there. Um,
Yep. Yeah, New York's high on my list.
what's Joe's always talking about? The Finger Lakes area. I don't know if that's actually. It's got to be part right there, right?
I'm not sure. I think so, but it's just mainly the Adirondack. So for me, I really see no need to leave Florida while I'm still actively pursuing Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
for the same reasons you mentioned of just wanting to go to these other places to enjoy the scenery and be a tourist
Mm-hmm.
and to camp and bring my the new e-bikes we got and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it, and if anything, it'd be hilarious. That's probably when it's going to happen for me, is when I'm not really,
Right.
out with a 3
Well,
camera.
that was the thing about the shindig, is that we weren't making it out to be this big investigation thing. We knew we were gonna go out and just look and hike and experience the area, but the whole thing about sitting with everybody and talking face to face was the biggest takeaway. And it was, enjoying each other's company and the food and seeing, really how somebody is 24/7, and not just across the screen from me, but, you get to see how somebody really is. And I think, um,
yeah, I agree.
it
I
was
think
an experience. I can't even put it into words.
and I think that's really important. That's a good point, Nikki, and I would think Brent would agree with this too. Is it's really important to meet these people at camp, and get a feel for the real them and not the YouTube them, because guards are dropped when you're around a campfire, and people will speak their mind, and things will come out you wish hadn't sometimes. But then quite more often the opposite happens, that you really create this respect for how they go about their business, and you can tell, kind of like what I've always said, I can tell if someone knows their way around a camera within 5 seconds of them picking one up. And not that I was the woodsman. I think I'm a lot better now. I don't think I would embarrass myself. I think I could show up and fit into any group and not be looking over like, are they setting up their tent now? Or what are they doing with their guidelines? Are they, I'm on autopilot now. I really, got my top sash and I'm loaded with badges, but it's important to see people and talk to them and break bread with them and really get a feel for them. And I think sometimes that can be very telling in whether or not at that point, and they have an encounter or have had an encounter, and just to hear it firsthand makes all the difference in the world than sitting here on a YouTube channel and bringing people on here in audio only and no visuals. But the campfire is pretty powerful. I will say that.
Yeah, it can. And I think Dakota from Minnesota, he kind of explained it real well, that the whole time he was there, he realized not one of us argued, fought, didn't get along. You know, we were like one. We wanted to be there. It was exciting from the beginning to the end. And I don't think anybody wanted to leave. You know we all had to leave, but it was a good experience. And that's what, the whole shindig is about, and us doing that over and over, because I want to have that happen again, and in a new place, with somebody else, knowing the area and telling us about it, and experiencing it, whether we find Bigfoot or not. That's kind of on the back burner, but it's a good place to hone skills. It's a great place for me to experience all this stuff and tech and all stuff like that I would normally not do or even care about, really.
Right.
So I'm going to be realistic about that. And it's just, it's going to be a good experience. Is this the last one? This is, there's that Nordig part there.
Okay, I didn't know where it was.
Yeah, in Alberta, and it's south. It's not in the upper part of Alberta, which I thought originally. I did think that it was. And the last one was the Salt Fork State Park, which just looks beautiful. Looks neat. I think they have a lot of cave systems there and a lot of stuff to explore. But it seems like a good spot. I wouldn't necessarily want to go when the Ohio Bigfoot Conference is there.
Not at all.
I'd want to do something in an area, other than the most populated. But it's an experience. Again, it's someplace that I think about. So, and that's my list. Have I left someplace off that you would want to see, Brent?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
You're cold.
Yeah. Well, no, I really like the Canada idea. I'm actually heading up there. I think September, October, to go up with Jason Zackerson. He's doing a month-long expedition up there, so I'm going to go join him for a short period of time. And I'm down for Canada. That's my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe get Randy Brisson to show me around and take me out. Give him that chance.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
They're having all these rocks thrown. Like, hey, where's these rocks coming from?
Just stay in the back. Stay in the back.
Yeah.
How about you? You just got to focus on Florida, Matt. That's it. That's all she wrote for you.
Well, we've been going to North Georgia, so I know my way around North Georgia pretty good. Black Rock Mountain and into Tulula Falls area. Down to not quite as far as Gainesville, but I've been all up through there camping probably 10, 15 times now in the last 3, 4. Well, we've had the Airstream 10 years. So usually we go to North Georgia or Georgia along the coast. So I find North Georgia very interesting. I noticed on those maps, though, a lot of the maps left off pretty much a lot of Georgia except for the north end. And I would agree with the north end. I mean, there is definitely some places that, you can't get to, you can't walk. I mean, they're pretty treacherous. They really are. Yeah. Especially around the Appalachian Trail area, cutting up there behind the museum, up in that area. I mean, but yeah, I think commercially, I'm gonna stay in Florida and finish this up, and then it'd be North Georgia and South Carolina and land between the lakes and Kentucky area for me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my handle. And I don't know if I'll be coming on YouTube a whole lot, other than I may do the Saturday show and just keep that going as
just change your middle Florida to central. Yeah. Central everywhere, Bigfoot or something.
No, but I would like to keep the show going. I would like to get back to my Saturday at 9:00. I am going to be on September 2nd. So mark your calendar. Okay, I think that's a Saturday. If someone can check me. It's going to be 9:00. And I'm having Bill Munns and Todd Prescott on.
Yes, Saturday.
Ooh, wow, that's quite the combo right there.
And we're going to talk everything about the PG film that I saw and the little tidbits that they filled me in on, because just a little nugget, the things I was seeing, I was correct in noticing. And I was actually told by Bill that one of the key items that was thrown me, he didn't realize how important that was until I brought it up. So, and I started off my conversation with the main reason I wanted to talk to these guys is I hear that in 55 years, the PG film has been, saturated and gone over head to toe, and there's nothing new that hasn't been brought up. And that, you guys know, has always ticked me off, because there's some things I noticed that didn't set with me as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Daniel Perez for over an hour. I talked to Todd Prescott for probably a couple hours. And I talked to Bill Munns for a couple hours. And I also had Thomas Stingberg for a couple hours. So it was a wealth of information that I said I would never go back and do, is go back and talk research and history. But I needed to, because I needed to understand the PG film from the camera perspective. And that's what I said all along. It's not about Patty, has nothing to do with Patty. I'm not trying to debunk Patty, never have. I just don't understand how the camera did what it did with how it was set up and the guy operating it. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And it was a good conversation. I think a lot of people are going to hear information they haven't heard before.
That sounds great.
It's going to be cool. I'm real excited. So it's going to be the biggest show I've ever done. And I got to get my ducks in a row, and I don't want to screw it up. So
you got it. Well, if I can help you out with anything, let me know.
Yep.
Some cool intros or something. Let me know.
I can tell you right now, there's not going to be an intro. I'm not going to waste any time. I got these guys, and it's going to be 15-second countdown. Boom, we're here. Let's go.
Oh man,
I can promise you that there is no bells and whistles. It's going to be all that.
Well,
I thought about that today. I thought about that today a lot, and I went, no, don't do anything. Just do your normal thing.
Right.
I don't want to overproduce.
Oh, great. Now you make me feel like I overproduce.
No.
Now that we're going to go into show me what you got.
Show me what you got. Jim, you heard them said, show me what you got. Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh, boy.
And oh, boy, again, I think you guys have been seeing that coming around.
Oh, brother.
on all the sites. They're pulling it up all right from our friends at MVTV, of course.
Wow, I didn't know they were still around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Putting out crap. But, there's still a lot of people out there that are like, oh, yeah, it's great. That's what we needed type of stuff. And it's not even, how can you even say that that's real? Look at trail cam, doesn't even line up with the photo. And matter of fact, they cropped it so bad at the bottom, you can see whatever picture was underneath it. See the line down at the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to bring that out. But on the positive side, it does have some timestamp information there that makes it very legit.
Yeah, at 2:42 in the morning with the sun out there, they really messed up all that whole thing. Okay, the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah, that's funny.
It's supposed to be in the middle of the night,
A
early
midnight,
morning
yeah.
thing, and I don't think they
And
do that much
Sasquatch
light
is
out
saying,
there.
are you a dentist? As he looks at the camera, I need a
Yeah.
dentist really bad. They should just make a
So-
whole. If they're gonna have a TV network, they should make a movie or a TV series on this. I mean, this would be a good, scary looking thing.
That is
Yeah,
very
But it looks like
scary.
it's a vegetarian by the types of teeth it's got. But
exactly. Curious Cryptid is do not recommend channel. Okay,
yes,
this is not a recommendation. This is just another their tomfoolery that they do for clicks and views. But of course, people grab it, okay, and they share it all over the place. So it was a good laugh, and it was something different. So there you go. That's that. This is the Trout Lake, Washington Bigfoot sighting. Okay. This has been around for a long time, and it is a video. I'm not going to play it. Bigfoot walks across way far back in the background. It's been around a long time, but our friends over at RMSO keep bringing up old shit.
Kelly
okay?
Shaw, biggest sellout right now.
And people are like, "Oh, that's such a great shot." That
seems to be floating there.
good.
Really cool.
madness.
It is. It does walk. It does walk across there. Walk. However, but Phil Coley from Para Breakdown had done thing on it a long time ago. Okay, it was a one-shot video from this chicken school. Okay, that's all they had on their video, their channel was this one Bigfoot walking from side to side, and then they claimed that it happened back in 2016.
Yeah,
Okay,
360p too, so it's got to be
the
real.
story didn't line up. People are already making up new stories on it, and it was ridiculous. I don't think I added that. No, I didn't. Just beware, stuff you're seeing that's for clickbait. Okay, it's just that. It's just that clickbait. Okay, just so you'll go to their websites and their channels. And look at this.
I was going to just say, because of all the fires that are around, you'll notice a post that'll get to the news, and it'll be firefighter found Sasquatch footprint.
Oh yeah,
that one circulated like 5 years ago. It's going to come around again because all these areas are burned. And they just change the location. That's all they do on the thing. So.
Yeah.
When that pops out coming up in the next couple of months, you'll know that it's garbage.
So that is, you're beware. Beware, that's coming, and it's going to be shown all over the place again. And now we've got So, in Bigfoot in the news, we've got something from the Daily Star. It's such a reputable place to find info. We've got, I left peanut butter for Bigfoot after hearing noises and two huge fingers took a scoop. So for this one, a man who claims he heard some strange noises he thought might be Bigfoot left peanut butter out for the beast and says something with big fingers took a scoop. Patrick Perry from Shell Knob in rural Missouri, U.S. shared images of what was left of the peanut butter on the Bigfoot Believer Facebook page. So I tried the gifting thing in our woods because I always hear strange noises and what sounds like wood knocks, he said. Patrick posted and said, what was that?
You okay,
shit,
Brent?
my cat
Brent, you
just
okay?
scared me.
Yeah.
Oh, now you
Now,
got a
right
cat
when-
showing up. Brent
Right
says
when my
that.
cat
The
jumped
cat
up and
shows up.
scared the crap
It's
out of me.
floating in the
Okay.
sky. Look at that. Woo.
Okay, if you're making fun of my Black Panther sighting, that is not funny.
Yeah, really. Look at he's just floating there. Look at that. Wow, look at me. Look at Nikki. Look at
That's exactly what I saw. Exactly what I saw.
Oh shit. Shit. Okay, he said so obviously squirrels got into it after the lid was off, but it also looks like two big fingers in the middle. The images he shared show a massive vat of peanut butter with two holes pressed in. And he says nothing's definite, but he wouldn't create a hoax because I don't play like that. So there you go.
Who said that?
This guy, Patrick Perry.
Oh yeah,
He don't play like that, so he don't.
he doesn't. Yeah.
Those were like just three little pokes anyway, so I don't know how much peanut butter you're going to get on your fingers with a poke.
Yep.
And I don't see any
know.
nails.
Yeah, you want me to put it back?
No
I don't
fingernails.
know.
Well, and look at how much it's eaten. It's cleaned the whole perimeter. If you look at the empty
Right.
container with the bit on the bottom, so that's pretty.
Oh.
That's pretty clean. That's better job I do that with a than I do with a knife, putting peanut butter on. So
That's funny.
must have liked
Okay.
it.
Lastly, we've got another one from the Star. Bigfoot attacks my motorhome when I don't offer it apples. And here's the proof.
Okay.
So a woman claims that Bigfoot attacks her motorhome if she forgets to leave apples out for the beast. Tona Carlos, 71, lives next to a huge wildlife habitat near Roy in the city of Washington State. Taking to, and again, Bigfoot believers again. For the first encounter with an apple thief came as she was unloading a crate of fruit from her car she had bought for her horses. So the apples were left on the ground, and she went into her motorhome with shopping bags. It was then she noticed her dog Jiggy went nuts and was jumping at the door to get back inside. I let her in and I turned around only to see a big, hairy, human-like, reddish-brown critter, bigger than bears in these parts, squatting down and grabbing apples out of her crate. We froze looking at each other as I am old and a bit incontinent. What does that have to do? Oh, shit. Okay, I gotta skip that part. The supposed Bigfoot then stood upright at roughly 8 foot tall, dropping the apples as it did so. Tana said she started talking to it like she would her dog. Good boy. That's a good boy. Just eat those apples. It's okay, sweetie. She jumped inside her motorhome and peered out the window to see it was heading to the door. Her phone, she claimed, was charging in her car, so she got no pictures. So, there's a footprint and the damage from the Bigfoot throwing it at her motorhome.
Looks like
That's from
Good
an
for
apple
her.
being thrown at a motorhome. That's a big apple to make that kind of damage, I would think.
pretty big. But and that's your Bigfoot in the news this week.
boy.
Be on the lookouts. All I have is that I saw this trailer for this new movie called Shaky Shivers. It has werewolves, zombies, and Bigfoot in it. It seemed hilarious. Well, there goes Brent. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that. It seems hilarious, so I put it up here. It's going to be coming out soon. The trailer, I left the link in the description so you guys can check it out. It's totally a B movie, if not C. Okay, just take it for what it's worth. We're not going to be having a whole lot of good movies coming out because the writers are on strike, the actors are on strike. So you're gonna have to get. I don't think he's. You got. Oh, there he is.
Gross. Oh, there he is. He's moving now. There you are, Brent. You're back.
I didn't do it.
You keep showing it. Go ahead, Nikki. Sorry.
So there you go. That's Shaky Shivers. It seemed hilarious, so I'm gonna watch it just for the fun of it. And my husband said that Hard Daddy is having a Bigfoot sale on shirts and wanted me to put that ad in here. They look hilarious. So there you go. There's Christmas presents.
You know who you should get those shirts for Enzo. Those
Yeah.
are totally his style.
Yeah,
shirts.
I've shown
Totally.
him some. those
Jamaica.
my husband
He
loves
looks like
that.
he's
Hard
in some
Daddy.
kind of place.
Yeah, so there you go. And that is the show for this evening. Thank you, gentlemen, for. Okay, let me fix this here a little bit. Whoa, now we look really big.
Well, I want to show you something before we go. So I found some gloves. I found some gloves on my this is how bored I am because I've been surrounded by fire for 4 days in my house. And Leanne was over to take care of the horses. She came into my place, sat down on a couch, and she left her gloves there. So can you see that? Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Probably
Yeah,
not.
we can.
What they're
Okay, so what I did was I took her gloves and there's a little sign underneath, and I put bandages across the face with sad eyes on it, and then I tied up her fingers, and it says, "Do what he says, or he will hunt, or he will hurt us." And so I sent her a text saying, "This is Mario. I have your gloves. If you want to see them alive again, send me." It said, "Pick me up this and this and this from the store. You got 12 hours to do it." And then she didn't say anything back, so I hacked it. I made it look like that, and I said, you think this is funny? God. I will feed him to the goats if you don't pay me in 12 hours. Anyways, that's who came earlier there. She was banging on the door. Let my gloves go. I thought, oh my God, I'm online. So that's why I had to leave there for a second. Anyways, sorry.
So just so you guys know, this coming Friday, my Hijinks in the Morning show, I will be talking about my experiences this weekend. I went to a concert on Friday night, and then I went. Oh, there comes Brent. Hold on. Okay. So I'll tell you about my experiences at the concert on Friday and getting to meet Joe Pass at the Las Cruces Comic-Con on Saturday.
That's great.
Had a blast. Found out I'm a true nerd. Really, we're already thinking about costumes for next year. And let's see, can pull. Oh, pretty.
Look at the hair. Holy man, look at your hair on your leg there.
Yeah.
Just hair.
No, that would not go.
Half blind, mostly deaf.
So I'll just show a couple of shots, but I'll be sharing you because a lot of shit happened at the concert that I wasn't happy with. And there's definitely some stuff I have to vent about. But we made the best of it. There's my husband there. He was ecstatic. We even got in. So there's part of the story. And there's me and Joe on Saturday.
That's scary. He's wearing a great costume. Look at him.
He's taller than Brent, okay?
Oh, is he? Ooh.
He is.
Look at Brent.
Yeah,
Brent, are you drinking tonight? What's going on with you, man? You're just like, you're all over the place.
Well, your sound works.
The dog's
fine.
mostly blind, half deaf, so he's running into stuff.
This is Brent online.
Yep.
Yeah. Because when I first saw him, he was sitting down. So I came up to give him a hug, but he stood up, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It was, he's really, really tall.
Wow.
Not just me, even though, and this guy was on stilts. Okay, so that's why he's taller than me. But
wow.
That's a good costume, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it's from Mandalorian.
He had to have been. It's Garchawa. I can't remember the Wookiee king. Garchawa. something like that. Anyway,
Look at the kid behind you looking over at him.
Yeah.
You got those
And
goggles
he
on
had
there,
the vocal thing. He had the
Oh.
vocal thing, so he was really I can't do
Wow,
it, but
that's commitment
yeah,
right there.
so that was cool. But anyway, but you'll get to hear all of that, the whole stories to everything
That's Friday?
that happened at the concert on Friday morning. You gotta wake up, Leon.
Well, I get up. It's just I can make it to my walker and everything. And
Just
get
have your
myself
phone. Just watch on the
Okay.
phone, and I'll
right
show
then.
you.
Okay,
and,
okay. I'll say hi. Then.
let you know, because man, I never seen my husband get so mad so fast. I also thought he was gonna throw down with somebody, but
Ooh.
we ended up making it and having a good time. So that's that. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming and sharing some time with me.
Welcome.
Let me get to where I need to go.
Absolutely.
Everything turned off on me.
Well, thanks for the invite, Nikki.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, you guys, hit that like button before you leave. Check out these guys' channels and all their stuff. And we got new stuff from Matt coming up and Brent. Something. He'll always come up with something. Leon, we're waiting for stuff from you.
Yeah, well, there's a documentary coming on Life After Death. I'm on that documentary. Just finished wrapping that one up.
I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next chat.